We're here in the Black Pine mountain range of north central Utah on a very large farm, 30,000 acres plus here on this farm. It's forage here in the Timothy field, alfalfa all around. What do they do with it? No livestock right here, but there's a lot of livestock around the country, in the U.S., in the world. And that's where this goes. It goes to people who are very interested in a very high quality product. A lot of testing goes on in that. And so to produce a good product in this area, to get the quality that the farm management wants, their customers, what they want, they need to have really a very good biological fertility program to produce the crop that they're looking for. You're going to be hearing from Jared Cook of Rocky Mountain Agronomics. I'm going to tell you what the challenges were when he first started working here. We'll hear from Noel Garcia, Texas Plant and Soil Lab, about what they did to turn those things around, those challenges, and it'll be very interesting. And if you're producing forage like this farm is on a massive scale, you'll certainly want to learn what they've done to achieve that success.
For the past 4 years, Jared Cook of Rocky Mountain Agronomics has been a consultant to the owners of this farm, who wish to remain unnamed. However, they were willing to invite you to learn about their success in improving forage production, and have implemented the recommendations of Rocky Mountain Ag and the Texas Plant and Soil Lab over the entire spread of more than 30,000 acres. This forage operation is within a half-hour drive of the Great Salt Lake and depends upon irrigation water that's naturally high in salt content, as was the soil before the irrigation pivots were installed. Since the forage on the farm is both baled and pelletized and then sold to both domestic and foreign buyers as premium dairy rations, the owners want to ensure the highest quality forage is produced. Jared Cook was asked about how that can be achieved, given the detrimental soil and water quality.
What they generally done in the past was just blanket applications of fertilizer, thinking that they could feed their year's worth of fertilizer all up front and expect great results at the end of the season. What I've helped them implement here is a very specific and very timely foliar fertilizing program. You know, we're fortunate in this area. We have center pivot irrigation, which is 1,400-foot sprayer, in other words. So we use that to our advantage in foliar feeding, water running key nutrients. And what we've seen by doing that and addressing specific plant nutrition requirements based on our plant sampling from Texas Plant and Soil Lab is we've really improved overall quality. Yields have stayed somewhat the same in some regard. We've increased the yield a little bit, but quality has become substantial.
When you say quality, what do you mean in quality? The quality of the Timothy, the alfalfa that they're producing here?
Yeah, so if you look at alfalfa particularly, alfalfa quality is designated by relative feed value. You know, we've gone from traditional 140, 150 relative feed value numbers to now we're pushing 190, 198 relative feed value. That's not on every cutting, but our prime cuts, we're right there.
Okay. How about Timothy?
Timothy, that's a little different story. It's not so much graded by relative feed value. It's more aesthetic appeal, the size of the head on the Timothy, but more so just the visual appearance. Granted, you know, nutritional value does play into that, but we're accessing higher qualities of Timothy here than we've ever seen before anywhere else.
All right. What's been the reaction of the farm management here as far as the prescription that you've had here for improving their overall production?
It's been exciting for them. You know, they came from a traditional approach to it was, you know, maybe go through the motions type action, to now we're pretty aggressive. We like pushing the limits, and I think that's very motivating. It's very invigorating for them, and there's a whole new level of excitement for the farm management.
All right. When you get into 30,000 acres, that's quite a commitment on the management to do that on this farm.
Oh, big time. Absolutely. Yeah, it takes a lot of teamwork, a lot of effort, and having that motivation of quality and where you're really pushing the limits. That's fun. That's fun for everybody.
Faced with the challenge of poor soil, which was not responding well to general NP and K application, Jared and Rocky Mountain Agronomics brought in Noel Garcia of the Texas Plant and Soil Lab for soil remediation recommendations.
As you can tell here, we've got very tight structure due to the excess sodium that we have. So we have to fix that structure first. And how do we fix that? By looking at a soil analysis and make sure that we've got enough soluble calcium to help us with that. Then the other approach that we normally use in this type of situation is bringing in a biological program, where we bring in soil inoculants that will help us achieve what we call a biological tillage, so we can increase that pore structure. Now we've got better structure, we got the biologicals working. Now we can afford to go ahead and physically leach those sodiums down away from the major root zone, and that's how we can accomplish a better quality, healthier crop overall.
Now, when you say biologicals, inoculants, things like that, of course, alfalfa is a legume. Here we're in a timothy field, a little bit different. What sort of biological products are there, and what do they really do to achieve what you need them to do?
Well, there's quite a bit of products out there in the market nowadays, Stu, and both of these are they're products that have a vast variety of different microbes in there that will help us achieve these kind of qualities that we're achieving here. And I guess the secret is you're sending these microbes into a very hostile environment. So a lot of times what we have to do is sort of spoon feed them over the season so we can achieve. So in a sense, we're growing this crop, you might say hydroponically, because we're spoon feeding through the pivot small amounts of biologicals or soil inoculants, plus the fertility as well. Instead of what they're used to is just doing a dry application at the beginning of the season and hope it gets into the plant.
How's it worked? What's your assessment here? You've worked with them for several years. As you look at this timothy field and the alfalfa fields around it, how do you assess the satisfaction with this, or the success of your production?
I think we've achieved quite a better quality, but I think there's still room for improvement. It's something that takes several years to accomplish. It's not something we can do overnight. And I think we'll be showing you some plant analysis and sodium analysis that will dictate us. We'll show you guys what the levels that we're dealing with is. We're at very excessively high sodium levels, but yet our tissue analysis is telling us that it's actually low to deficient in sodium.
And how does all of that happen then?
That happens through our program. It's not only a fertility program, but we add other adjuvants to help us sort of buffer against that detrimental effect that the sodium has on the plants.
And that's the way it shapes up here from the Black Pine Mountain Range here in north central Utah. Beautiful place, a great place to raise forage. A lot of water, a lot of great land to do that in. And you certainly heard how Rocky Mountain Agronomics, Texas Plant and Soil Lab have provided the recipe that this operator of 30,000 acres really needed to produce the crop that he wants, that is sold around the world, and is getting quite a bit of production opportunity from it. This is Stu Ellis.